What's the crack, lads? How are we getting on? That was a pretty energetic intro. What's the crack? How are we, lads? Welcome back to another video. If you've been following the channel along, you might just have come in for this one random video, but if you've been following the channel, you'll notice slightly different background, different setup. Yes, we have moved gaff, we've moved apartment. This room looks somewhat presentable. The rest of the gaff is an absolute state. I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video. Get your world's smallest violin out, cry me a river, but the sponsors do literally keep a roof over my head. Massive shout out to Manscaped. You know the drill at this stage, lads. Manscaped, when they started, it was just doing below the waist grooming. Now they've upped their game. They've progressed from the nether region, still doing the nether region, that's funny to say. Now, I suppose, would you say what's the opposite of nether? They're basically doing beard stuff, lads. The Beard Hedger Pro kit, absolutely class piece of kit. Look at the neckline, lads, not looking too shabby. I don't have the strongest beard in the world, but it's not the worst, thanks to Manscaped. The Beard Hedger Pro is genuinely the best beard razor I've ever used. It's strong and powerful, but it's not gonna nick you either. Then the handyman just comes in, cleans up the neck, front of the neck and the back of the neck if you're a bit of a hairy ape like myself on top. And then obviously if you're a clean shaver, not like me, if I clean shaved I'd look about 14. But if you are a clean shaver, the handyman is just easy, he gets the job done in about 30 seconds. That's what she said, or he said. Not too sure on that one, Dara. It just means you don't have to use the foam and the razors and cutting yourself and all that crack. The handyman does what it says on the tin. It's very handy. So huge shout out to Manscaped for helping to keep the channel going. Go to manscaped.com, use the code PINTS20 to get 20% off plus free shipping. Onto the video. Right, lads, top 5 places to visit in Ireland. Disclaimer, these are my opinions. These are where I have visited. I haven't been to every inch of Ireland, but I like to think, doing the pub videos for the last 3-4 years, I've been around the block on this beautiful island. And this top 5, this list for me is, I suppose, just places that I've connected with. I've just had felt a certain connection when I've gone there. The place has been very welcoming, and I've just liked the general sort of vibe and culture of the town/city. Okay, that's enough disclaimer and trying to cover my arse. Without further ado, let's get into my top 5 places to visit in Ireland. Number 5, Belfast. I feel like Belfast in the last kind of 5 to 10 years, I'm sure the Belfastians, if that's what we want to call them, I'm sure the people of Belfast will agree that for some reason, I don't know if it's because of a good job from the tourism board or what, but I have found in the last 5-10 years, Belfast has become so much more popular in terms of going there for a weekend away. Stag do's, hen do's, and couples going away for the weekend. I feel like Belfast really has its own sort of subculture. It's kind of got this traditional old school mixed with this new kind of borderline hipstery vibe to it. And yeah, it's just a really, really cool city. It was always a good spot to go, but I think these days it's a really, really cool city. It's also probably not as far from Dublin as you would think. It's about an hour and a half in a car. Things to do, you've got the Titanic experience, you've got the Game of Thrones tour. The locals there, they're all mad, but they're great crack and they're absolutely sound, very proud people in Belfast. They're always very welcoming and inviting. So stroll down the streets of Belfast, stick some Van Morrison in your ears and just enjoy the culture. Number 4 on my personal list. Again, this is a personal list. It has to be there on the list somewhere. I'm gonna go number 4, Dublin. 4? I did that. Number 4, Dublin. I was contemplating even putting Dublin on the list because when you come to Ireland, I'd say 95% of people who visit Ireland are going to visit Dublin for a few days. But I guess that's not really enough of a reason to not put it on the list. I can see all these other cities as I guess a tourist because I haven't been to them too many times. But Dublin, I grew up just outside of Dublin. I've been going into Dublin city my entire life. But I would still say it's a fantastic city, but be prepared to bring the checkbook, that's all I'll say. So much incredible historic things to do in Dublin. You've got Kilmainham Jail. I'm no history buff at all, lads, so I'm not going to tell you what you're going to learn there. But let's just say there's a long history of oppression in Ireland that I think a lot of people who visit here aren't super aware of. So the Kilmainham Jail tour is, although it can be kind of grim to hear some of the stories, absolutely amazing piece of history. Trinity College, take a stroll through there. You've got Dublin Zoo, one of the biggest zoos in Europe. And of course you got the Guinness Storehouse, the Jameson Distillery. Dublin has got you covered in terms of drinking activities. Also, I think my number 1 thing that I would recommend to do in Dublin is go to see a Gaelic football or hurling match in Croke Park. The stadium holds up to 80,000 people and these players on the pitch are playing for free. It's amateur, they're going to work the next day on a Monday morning. So all they're playing for is passion. It's absolutely like no other sport in the world. So yeah, Croke Park, probably number one on my list of things to do in Dublin. Number 3 on my list, and I probably know the least about this place of any of the places on my list, but I went to West Cork a few months ago. Only a few months ago was my first time in West Cork. I was visiting the most southerly pub in Ireland. It's in Crookhaven in West Cork, and some of the places I drove through, it's all kind of peninsulas, in and out, in and out. And oh my God, I have to say, for me, I think West Cork is the most beautiful place in the country of Ireland, because like there's so many unbelievably beautiful places on this island, but I've never been as breathtaking as when I drove around West Cork. You've got places like Bantry, Skibbereen, Clonakilty, absolutely beautiful. And the people of Cork are like no other. A lot of people take the piss out of the Cork people, saying they think Cork is the real Republic of Ireland. They're very extremely proud people, but they're also hilarious. They're sarcastic, but they're extremely welcoming, and they love the crack. One tip for West Cork, if you can pick the time of year, I would definitely visit in the summer. Number 2 on my list, Dara's list of my top 5 places to visit in Ireland. Number 2 is Galway City specifically. So Galway is on the west coast of Ireland. I always say to people, like, even though I am from the east coast of Ireland, like west is best. Anywhere along the west coast of Ireland, you'll see that the top 3 places on this list are kind of west of Ireland, and it's for a reason, because the west of Ireland is just incredible. And Galway is no different. I always say to people, it's kind of like a slightly more relaxed, slightly more country version of Dublin. Not as intimidating, not as kind of daunting of, not that Dublin's a massive city, but it is in our eyes. But Galway just has this aura about it that you just know you're going to go there, whether it's a night, a week, you're going to have an absolutely incredible time. It has a, fancy word alert, plethora of just unbelievable pubs. I think in terms of, for a city, I would have to say Galway is definitely the best city in Ireland for pubs, for Guinness as a whole. It's kind of got big, nice wide streets. It's also got little alleyways that you can find yourself going down. And the people of Galway, they're extremely approachable. They'll take the piss out of you just like everyone else in Ireland, but they just have that west of Ireland niceness to them. And they'll take you in as if you're one of their own. And then in terms of trad music, traditional Irish music, I feel there's a lot of places around Ireland, especially in Dublin, you get these sort of gimmicky trad music sessions and stuff purely just put on for tourists. But in Galway, I find it's all just trad musicians who are purely just passionate about the music. They're probably playing in the pub, probably not even getting paid for it. They just absolutely love it, and they've probably been raised by generations and generations of Irish trad music players. And yeah, like I said, the pubs in Galway is just, I think, next level. For a big city, you get such a small old man fire on in the winter pub kind of vibe, and I just absolutely love it. I want to quickly give 3 honourable mentions that aren't unfortunately going to make the list in no particular order. Westport, a really beautiful seaside town in Mayo, known as a bit of a stag party, hen party town, but it offers so much more than that. Bundoran, like Westport, famous for its surfing. When you go to Bundoran, you feel like you've travelled back to the 90s. It's got the arcades, the beaches, great pubs, great food, and great people. And lastly, going a bit bigger, Kilkenny City just about did not make my list. I absolutely love it for a weekend away. It kind of feels like a big city and a small town all at the same time. Some unbelievable nightlife in Kilkenny, arguably the best nightlife in Ireland. Great for a night away with the missus, and also great for a big lads trip. So those are the 3 honourable mentions that didn't quite make the top 5. Now we move on to numero uno, number 1 on my list. I think if you're following this channel a long time, I don't think this will come as a surprise. I've always said this when people ask where is my favourite place to visit in Ireland. My number 1 place to visit on the beautiful island of Ireland is Dingle, County Kerry. I'm sure a lot of people will be nodding along in agreement. I don't think it's a controversial call. It's just the most magical, mythical place that I have been in Ireland. Top tip for Dingle, if you can pick when you're going, Christmas time, like December 15th, December 20th, you go down there, all the pubs will have the fire on, beautiful creamy pints of Guinness. You have Foxy John's, Curran's, Paddy O'Shea's. These are just absolutely next level, authentic Irish pubs. And when the tourists go in there, when the Americans go in there, they just want to stay for a lifetime, because these pubs just welcome you in, and you just get it's just a magic about Dingle that I can't explain. And then in terms of tourism, I find Dingle there is tourists there, but it doesn't feel touristy. For some reason, Dingle just keeps that genuine Irish, authentic vibe about it. even though there is tourists about, it's hard to explain. You can also take in the beautiful town of Killarney on your way to Dingle, kind of on your way, a little bit out of the way, but Killarney also well worth a visit. But yeah, Dingle for me, I've always kind of struggled, even though I've just talked shite about it for about 3 minutes, I've always struggled to come up with the actual words to describe the kind of magical feeling about the town. But for me, I think it's always going to be number one in terms of my favourite place in Ireland. So that's been my top 5 places to visit in Ireland, lads. I'm sure you will have your disagreements in the comments below, but we can't keep everyone happy. Thanks for watching, lads. We will see you in the next video.